Welcome back. If you've been in the grocery stores in the last week, you may have noticed an incredible surge in the price of potatoes. The Namibia Agronomic Board has made it known that this is due to current local supply shortages experienced in the country. Domestic demand for potatoes in Namibia stands at around 4,000 tonnes a month. Currently, that demand is being met at 5 to 10% only. Why, you may ask, and what can be done to mitigate it? We're joined by the Public Relations Officer of the NAB, Auguste Fabian, to answer that and more. Auguste, good evening and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Good evening, Nina. Good evening to the viewers at home. It's a pleasure to be here.
Auguste, I was absolutely shocked when I saw how much, the price of a 7 kg bag of potatoes cost over the weekend. Talk to us about what is causing this local supply shortage.
Okay, well, thank you, Nina. The main cause of the price surge in potatoes is currently because of the scarcity of potatoes in the market. Therefore, it's really a demand issue. You would notice that in South Africa, where we import almost 70% of the potatoes from, is currently experiencing scarcity of the commodity, which is also influenced by a number of factors such as the load shedding and the decrease in planting area, among others. And this has led to the shortage in supply. And as a result, demand is high and supply is low. And of course, the common rule is that the lower the supply of the commodity, the higher the price. Then another factor is also the issue of seasonality. October is usually an off-season for local potato production because of the temperatures being really high. And of course, potato production is more suitable in winter or in cooler temperatures. And then, of course, we should also keep in mind, Nina, that our local producers only produce about 30% of what we really need, or of the local demand. Therefore, we do not really have a major influence on the prices because Namibia is a net importer of the commodity.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that it's off-season and, of course, there's hot temperatures right now at this time of the year. Are those the only challenges that farmers are facing that's hampering production?
Now, of course, we have quite a few challenges. With regards to the weather and seasonality, you will find that we do not produce throughout the year. And then, of course, what we produce in the cooler season is still not sufficient to meet the local demand. That is one of the challenges. And another challenge is also the access to potato seeds, which is something that the NAB is working on to address, and it will be addressed soon because in collaboration with partners, we have conducted a few trial research on potato seed varieties, which is aimed at exploring potato seeds that have high yields and are adaptable to Namibia's climatic conditions. And of course, the top performing seed varieties will be recommended for official recognition and multiplication. Then another challenge would also be the cost of production. Potato is one of the most expensive crops to produce, as a farmer would need close to 200,000 Namibian dollars per hectare, making it a very high input cost crop.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about the margins in increase of prices that we're seeing and possibly should it continue to expect.
Well, at the moment, the margins increase ranges between 15 to 20%, which is most likely to remain such for a while, but it will decrease by December this year, as most of our local farmers have planted during the August month and will harvest in December towards January therearound, which will then also supplement the demand. And then, of course, production of potatoes is also expected to pick up in the neighboring South Africa around the same time. So we do expect the prices to decrease starting from December going forward.
Mm-hmm. And what immediate interventions are being made by the NAB, Auguste?
Nina, from the NAB standpoint, and as alluded to earlier, the NAB and partners have conducted seed research trials as a deliberate intervention as a result of the challenges experienced in our crop industry pertaining to potato production. Therefore, in the next financial year, which is the 2023-24 financial year, we are going to start with the seed multiplication of the best performing potato seeds, making them accessible to all the interested crop farmers around the country. And then secondly, through NAHOP, which is the National Association of Horticulture Producers, we are currently organizing small-scale farmers to have access to potato seeds, whereby we bring farmers together to buy seeds together as a group so that it is more affordable and accessible to them.
You mentioned earlier, of course, that this is one vegetable that we do import from, outside of the country. So how will importing of the product close the current demand gap, and how does it affect pricing?
Oh, thank you. The demand is always there for potatoes, and usually the gap is filled by imports. Hence, when imports are affordable, the prices are most likely to be affordable in Namibia as well. But when they are expensive, the prices are also high. We should also take note that the NAB does not necessarily regulate prices of fresh produce, only for staple food crops. However, we do support our local farmers through various interventions aimed at capacitating them to increase their production and eventually meet the local demand for potatoes in the country. The goal is really to become food self-sufficient.
Fantastic. Augusta, your final remarks before I let you go?
Well, the NAB, I would just like to tell our viewers that the NAB remains committed to supporting efforts that are aimed at developing our crop industry, and the stakeholders can really contact any of our offices countrywide on industry-related matters. Our team is always ready to assist, and all our office contact details can be found on the NAB website, which is www.nab.com.na.
Auguste, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Nina.
That was Public Relations Officer of the Namibia Agronomic Board, Auguste Fabian, speaking to us there. We'll be right back after this. Our conversations continue.